Thank you, House Chairperson. It was a great sign of Africa, President Kwame Nkrumah, who once said, "We face neither east nor west, we face forward." These honorable members is the foreign policy outlook of the Republic of South Africa. Indeed, we as South Africa face neither east nor west, we face forward and we are moving forward. We welcome this pivotal debate called by Honorable Malema. While we acknowledge the invaluable contribution of PEPFAR to our health system and the whole continent, we should not bemoan the sovereign decision of the United States of America to revise its USAID policy, but seize this moment as a catalyst for change. We must act in unison to mitigate the negative impact of the USAID cuts. We must seize this moment to reconceptualize our global system and ensure that our domestic imperatives serve our nation efficiently and sustainably. Section 231 of the Constitution provides that foreign policy is the responsibility of the National Executive, which is vested in the President. Ms. Powell, the GNU does not supersede the Constitution. There is no party in the GNU that can go to any foreign country to represent South Africa's interest. You can go represent the interest of your party. It's a right that all parties have, but not the national interest of the people of South Africa. Our Constitution protects the rights of all citizens to protest as we used to protest to fight against unjust laws of apartheid. There is nothing unjust in our Constitution for solidarity and AfriForum to protest for in Washington. Our struggles were for the common good of all and not for a select race. They have positioned themselves against the people of South Africa. As we mark Human Rights Month, we remain committed to the democratic socio-economic transformation agenda of our country to reverse the legacy of colonialism and apartheid dispossession, discrimination and marginalization. Our Constitution enjoins us to build a just and equitable South Africa in which all shall share in its prosperity. Honorable House Chair, we remain steadfast in advancing international peace and security through inclusive dialogue and peaceful political settlement of disputes in the African continent and beyond. Honorable Speaker and members, for 30 years, South Africa and America enjoyed sound bilateral relations. Whenever we had differences, we tackled them through constructive dialogue. Just as we value the strategic partnership with the US, so we do with countries from the global north. This is encapsulated under the pillar of North-South dialogue in our foreign policy. In short, it is about dialogue and partnership, not paternalism or imperialism. We place great value on our sovereignty, independence and autonomy, while committing to engagements with all states, including the United States. Honorable House Chair, in terms of our policy orientation, we are not in place of confrontation and antagonism. We are in the business of diplomacy and dialogue, but this should never be viewed as timidity and weakness. We will continue to remain firm in this regard, hence our President's mantra that we will not be bullied. The US is South Africa's biggest trading partner in the world after China. There are 601 US firms that have invested in South Africa, many using South Africa as a gateway to other African countries. These companies range from technology and finance, manufacturing and industry, healthcare and pharmaceutical, energy and mining. Their investment is a huge testament of confidence in South Africa's potential for growth and development. South Africa is the largest exporter to the US in the African continent. South Africa-US bilateral trade stands at 21 billion rand in 2023. South Africa also exports to the US 13.9 billion rands. We import at the value of 7.2 billion rands. South Africa's global exports are distant for US average 2021 to 2023. From 2019 to 2024, the US ranked as South Africa's agricultural exports destination. South Africa exports to the US platinum, motor vehicles, reaction initiators, ferrolus, citrus, jewelry, nuts, chemicals, wines, engines and turbines, and ships and boats. There are currently about 22 South African companies invested in the US, providing about 6,900 jobs. So the relationship is mutually beneficial. is not a one-way street, it's a two-way traffic. There is huge exchange of knowledge between South Africa and the US universities that is mutually beneficial. We have gained a lot in the exchange of new technologies between the two countries. It is a country who can continue to gain in the field of new technologies and taking our country to greater heights. In the context of multilateral trade, South Africa remains an active champion of reforms that prioritize development and equity. Our worldview is therefore universal and not narrow. We are concerned with the well-being of others as well-being is linked to ours too. Speaker, the world is rapidly changing. Interdependence is pitted against competition. Cooperation is being shifted in favor of conflict. For us, values are placed at the altar of transactions. A growing body of evidence indicates that the actions of the current US administration can be understood through what is preferred as the Project 2025. To elaborate, Professor Albert at Princeton University, whose research and teaching focus on political campaigns and public policy, argues that nearly all actions taken in the President Trump's second administrations were outlined in 2022 in a plan called Project 2025. Here is an extract on US aid from that plan, and I quote, US foreign aid has been transformed into a massive and open-ended global entitlement program captured by and enriching the progressive left. The next conservative administration should scale back US aid global footprint by at a minimum returning to the agency's 2019 pre-COVID-19 pandemic budget level. It should de-radicalize US aid programs and structures and build on the conservative reforms instituted by the Trump administration. Close quote. There is no question that executive orders churned out rapidly are in step with this mandate. In addition, speeches by US office bearers illustrate a notable shift towards this perspective. South African government has maintained peace as the only viable solution to the Ukraine conflict. We were cajoled in isolating Russia, even to the point of being accused of arming the Russians. As we speak, the United States of America is stating that the only peace that can be viable solution to the Ukraine conflict and exclusively engaging with Russia. What we called for earlier, now the world is moving in that direction. This current moment in geopolitics has proven that our principled, non-aligned foreign policy approach is the correct approach. We have to stand by our principle, no matter what, and it is because of this that everyone is now coming to the table, that all parties to the Ukraine conflict must be called back, to have a meaningful dialogue and to achieve peace. Our response to this rapidly shifting sense should include collaboration and partnership and strategies to be less reliant on foreign assistance. We as a country have to build our own domestic capabilities to be self-sustainable. In 2022, the African Union adopted the new public health order aimed at promoting greater self-reliance in health agendas. It calls for, and I quote, strengthen public health institutions, domestic resource mobilization, local manufacturing of health products, health workforce development, respectful and action-oriented partnerships. This is the way forward and must be implemented by us as a nation and the African continent as a whole. Our experience with COVID-19 pandemic taught us a great deal. COVID-19 taught us that we must become self-reliant or face being at the mercy of rich nations in the West, who proved themselves capable of acts like holding life-saving vaccines and giving us Africans the leftovers. It must not happen again, and it will not happen. We, under the leadership of Minister Motsoaledi, we must continue to build self-reliance in our manufacturing capabilities to respond to these challenges. We owe it to ourselves and future generations to build a robust, self-sufficient and sustainable health infrastructure. The gains we have made over the last 2 decades are fragile. Without sustained investments to bolster the national response to pandemics and viruses, the future human and economic costs will be heavy. As the Minister of Health has already highlighted in the debate, we must continue to be self-sufficient to safeguard our continent's future. But in the spirit of progressive internationalism, we will engage all, including the country that will succeed us as the G20 president, the United States of America. not only at home, but also in terms of enhancing global health security. It is a great privilege that this opportunity occasioned by these shifts takes place at a time when we hold the G20 presidency. We will choose Ubuntu diplomacy, emphasizing mutual benefit, solidarity, and cooperation. We will not give up on equal rights and equal opportunities and equal rules as a basic principle of multilateralism. We will continue to ensure that we build alliances across the globe to make our economy self-reliant and respond to the investment challenges that we will continue to face. We face neither East nor West, so we will continue working with the countries in all countries to build multilateral platforms. We shall fight to be free. We will build our own society, in our own society. We will sing our own song, Amandla Awethu. This is an extract, Sing Our Own Song, written and performed by the British reggae UB40. The song was created as an anti-apartheid song, faced censorship in South Africa, featuring the ANC rallying cry, Amandla Awethu. It is regarded as a significant protest song of that era. Our foreign policy echoes this spirit. We will indeed build our own society. In our own society, we will sing our own song. We must build our own self-reliance so that we can sing our own song. We must continue to march forward, build industrialization that will respond, and continue to cooperate and build partnerships across the globe that will respond to these emerging challenges. Amandla Awethu. Thank you very much.